EIGRP, RIP, and OSPF all use the passive interface command for the control of where that routing protocol is operating. Now understand that there are subtle differences between how each of these routing protocols interprets the passive interface command. So how does OSPF work with passive interface? It says the following: I'm not going to speak or listen to this protocol on these interfaces. Now you might think, well, why not just craft better network statements that exclude that interface? Well, if you do that, you might not advertise, or you would not advertise, the subnet of that interface. And therefore, it would not be part of your routing domain at that point, at least from the perspective of OSPF. So let's say we've got a leaf subnet that's maybe going down to a VLAN where end users live. We want to use passive interface to make it impossible for peering to occur. Impossible because you're not speaking hellos or receiving hellos, which is demanded to get neighborship. And if you don't have a full adjacency, you're not getting routes. So you can't get any routes inbound for OSPF on an interface where passive interface has applied. That's a big deal. So this makes your routing protocol more secure and, in fact, more efficient as well, because you're not speaking the protocol unnecessarily. Now you can do passive interface default, which says apply to all the interfaces, and then you redacted or vetoed that on an interface by interface basis. You could also be more granular and just say, I want to use passive interface on this one interface. So let's say I'm on R6, and I want to use passive interface to leave OSPF still running on Fast Ethernet 2/0, but I don't want to have any potential neighborships, and I want to make my network more secure and more efficient. A lot of people who write exam questions think efficiency with this protocol. It's mildly more efficient, but it's not massively more efficient. Let's just be honest. So if I want to see if passive interface is applied, I can do that, and it would show up in the show IP protocols output. I can also view this by looking at the OSPF config directly. So passive interface is not running on this router, but I can make it run for this interface. Be careful with what interfaces, because you would break the routing protocol on that interface. So I'm going to say passive interface. I'm not going to use default. It's not appropriate for this. I'm going to say Fast Ethernet 2/0. I don't expect anything massive to occur here. We're not breaking any neighborships. Now, if I did that and I did break neighborships, I'd really have to do my due diligence and figure out what I might have done wrong. But I'm going to redo those show interface, or those show commands, show IP protocol. And now I see that I am running passively on that interface. Do not speak nor listen to OSPF on that interface. So, passive interface is a great way to control your routing protocol and understand that it absolutely removes any possibility of a neighborship to be formed on that interface.